I used to believe houses had heartbeats. You could hear them if you stood still long enough. The groan of old wood, the shiver in the walls, the kind of quiet that knows too many secrets. The morning my life cracked open, I swear the whole apartment felt like it was holding its breath, waiting for me to finally admit what I already knew. I didn't belong there anymore. When my eyes opened, the first thing I felt wasn't sleep. It was the weight of silence. The kind that presses on your ribs, squeezing a truth you're not ready to face. I sat up, expecting to hear my parents laughing in the kitchen or arguing about nothing the way they always did. But there was nothing. Not a voice. Not a footstep. Not even a single cup on the counter. It was Christmas Eve and they were gone. I walked through the apartment like a stranger invading someone else's home. 2 suitcases missing. Coats gone. The framed photo of us from last winter, my father's favorite, taken right off the shelf. They didn't even leave a note. Just the hollow imprint of their absence. I stood there, gripping the back of the couch, telling myself it was a mistake. Maybe they ran out for groceries. Maybe they overslept. Maybe something. Anything. Then my phone buzzed. A single message from my mother. Clara, we're spending Christmas at Uncle Victor's. It'll be better this way. You understand. Better this way? She didn't even have the nerve to call me. For a full minute, I couldn't move. I read that message again and again, as if the letters would rearrange into something that didn't feel like abandonment. But they didn't. I finally walked into my room, dropped to the edge of my bed, and laughed. One of those ugly, cracking laughs you choke on. Because the truth was, this wasn't sudden. This was a slow burn that had been eating through us for years. The hushed conversations behind closed doors. The glances they exchanged whenever I walked into the room. The way they made me feel like a burden they couldn't put down. And now they didn't have to pretend. They chose a holiday built on love to show me I didn't deserve any. I sat there until the light coming through the window shifted from gray to gold. And somewhere between anger and numbness, a decision settled into me. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet click. I wasn't staying in that apartment another day. I didn't call them. I didn't ask why. I didn't beg. I just opened my laptop and searched for movers. 30 minutes later, a crew was booked. Early next morning, the moment I hit confirm, something in me unlocked. Like the part of my heart I kept tying back with weak string finally snapped loose. I spent the rest of the day packing. Not crying. Not spiraling. Just moving like someone who finally realized their life didn't have to be shaped after the people who broke them. I boxed up my clothes. My books. My paintings. The small things I bought with the little money I earned. And when I found the letter from my mother tucked inside my dresser, an old apology from a year ago, I folded it once, twice, then tossed it into the trash. I didn't need their words anymore. The movers arrived just after sunrise. 3 men with tired eyes and quiet confidence. They didn't ask questions. They didn't comment on the boxes labeled bedroom and memories and things I don't want anymore. They simply did their job. And I watched all the pieces of my life disappear into the back of their truck. As the apartment emptied, I realized how small it truly was. How cramped it felt. How much of myself I'd folded down to fit inside it. I left the keys on the counter. No note, no explanation, and stepped out without looking back. But here's where everything shifted. I didn't go to a friend's place. I didn't rent a tiny room and pretend to start over slowly. I bought a house. A real house. A quiet, sunlit, ridiculously beautiful house on the edge of the city that cost more than anything I had ever dared imagine I'd own. Every corner felt like air I could finally breathe. The kitchen smelled like new beginnings. The living room held space for the version of me I had never been allowed to grow into. But I didn't buy it out of spite. Not fully. I bought it because 4 months earlier, something impossible happened. Something I kept hidden, even from the people who were supposed to love me. I won a lottery I never meant to enter. Not millions, not the kind that buys islands or private jets, but enough to rewrite the story I'd been handed. Enough to pull me out of the tiny life they thought I deserved. Enough to give me freedom. Real, unbreakable freedom. I never told my parents. You'd think they would have noticed something different about me, how I stopped worrying about bills, how I was calmer, lighter. But they never saw me. Not really. You can't notice changes in someone you never bother to.